Hey, welcome everybody. Coach Dave here. Tonight we are talking about part 2 of 4 in our title, Agree with Success. Thank you. We'll be right back in just after this. Hey everybody, we are live, 6 at 6 live with Coach Dave. Welcome. As you come on in, if you're on the replay or if you're here live, please swipe, follow, and share. Invite this out to your followers so that they can come in and do the same thing. Please tweet it and retweet it as you are out and about there. Please subscribe and like on YouTube and share it out to your Facebook friends. And as usual, I really appreciate all those hearts that you tap out if you're in there here with me in Periscope. Welcome everybody. Welcome Terry. And it looks like we are talking about tonight, Agree with Success. Agree with Success, part 2. And the main part of this title, Agree with Success, is what we need to do. And it is good to be here, guys. Really appreciate it. And welcome. Come on in. We're happy to have you here, and I got a couple of things to dial in here. So I'm going to talk about Shannon. Shannon is my partner here on Periscope. She's having an event that she calls Survive and Thrive Live. Survive and Thrive Live. She's having it on October 14th, and she is selling tickets to the live stream part of it, which is, if you can't be there, you can go to bit.ly/IWillSurvive17 and get $27 live stream tickets. If you can be there in person on October 14th, Stockton, California, go to bit.ly/Survive and Thrive Live, $47 per ticket. And of course, the best part of the whole screen here is the big cup. Shannon is sponsoring the big cup. And you can have your name and your slogan, your company logo on that cup, and just enjoy the fact that she is advertising for you as she drinks from the big cup throughout her broadcasts. Now, Shannon also wants to know about your business. She wants to know how you are doing, what is your business, and what are your interests in your business. So she wants to advertise not just who you look like, what your slogan is, but actually advertise for what you're doing. She's also got a need for vendors at her event. Go to bit.ly/Survive and Thrive Live Vendor. If you wanted to sponsor the Big Cup, that's the top one up there, Survive and Thrive Sponsor. If you want to be a volunteer for any of her goodies that she's doing, bit.ly/Survive and Thrive Volunteer. And if you want to help her with all of her fundraising goods, she's into a few other causes as well, bit.ly/Fundraising for Good. Well, thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Coach Dave. Welcome. Tonight we're talking about, let's go back to that title screen. We're talking about Agree with Success. Agree with Success. This is part 2 of 4. Last night we did part 1, and it was very good. We had some really great information. And my chat here just seems to go back to its default if I don't type in it every once in a while, but that's okay. All right, the website worked. Everybody, we do have this live on our website. Thank you, Terry. She was going to check that out for me and find out if when I am live on the stream here, live streaming in action, if you go to my website, coach90.com/live, you will see that we are live and on the air. So technically, you could say we're 7 at 6. Does that make sense? I don't know. 6 at 6 is the name of the show. It also shows up in a couple other places if you don't mind going there. All right. And as usual, what I need you to do if you are on YouTube or watching it on YouTube is go to my subscribe link there for that video or for my channel. I need you to subscribe to my channel. As soon as we get enough people subscribed, I'm going to be doing Coach Dave Unplugged. for YouTube, for Periscope. We're going to do some broadcasts that are just for the specific networks that you see over there online. All right, I'm going to try something a little bit new here. I am going to see if my stats for my Eggbot stats actually come up here. It looks like they have. So far you can see there we've got 4 comments. We've got also, wow, a bunch of hearts, 593 and counting, 600 hearts. Go baby go. I love it. I love the hearts. Thank you so much. That makes me feel love. All right, today is the second part of our series in Agree with Success, and we're talking about the second step is, well, let me go back to the first step. So you can go to yesterday's broadcast for the first step, but we talked about step 1, be impeccable with your word. There's 4 parts to this. That's part 1 for this agreeing with success. And if you agree with success, I bet you success will agree with you. Okay? I'm just saying. Just saying. All right, so second part of this is step number 2, don't take anything personally. Wow. That's easy to say, not so easy to do. By the way, I do have a new living room. I just went and got it today. I hope y'all like it. It's a new look for me. You can see there's a nice big old table in the middle, and there's a couch on both sides, and I'm sitting in front of another one, and nice little sofa table over here on this side, and nice big old window on that side over there. So anyway, step number 2 is don't take anything personally. That's really, yeah, thank you very much. I picked it out myself. Thank you all for all the hearts. I love that. That's awesome. I am just talking about how easy this is. Don't take anything personally. Wow, that's so easy. I bet all of us could do it. Well, maybe with a little bit of practice and a little bit of help. Don't take anything personally has a lot to it. Let me talk about the first part of that. Part number 1, nothing others do is because of you. Okay, you need to realize that. Don't be responsible for what other people feel, because they're going to act on their feelings. They're going to act on their feelings, and you are not responsible for their feelings. I have a whole responsible to and responsible for card that has the things that you are responsible to in a relationship with someone. And believe it or not, if you just meet somebody walking down the street and they see you and you see them, that's a relationship. Okay? Now, it may not be a very deep relationship, but you just related to that person. So the first thing is, nothing others do is because of you. You know, I've heard it said a bunch of times. I've heard different bumper stickers for this. It's not about you because that other person may be going through something that you don't know about. And it's the same thing. You're going through something the other person doesn't know about. If you get offended at something somebody says, it's because of one or both of those things. You don't know what they're going through or why they said that, so why take it personally? And they don't know what you're going through, so why should they even be able to accurately connect with what you're going through and accurately, I mean, unless you sit down and you share with them, and then you're not going to take it personally. If they're a trusted friend, or if they're a friend you can sit down with, you're going to be able to say, hey, you know, I'm not going to take that personally, what you said. It's really not accurate, but I don't have to take it personally. Okay? So don't take it personally, because nothing that others do or say is because of you. It's because of what they've been brought up in. It's because of how they feel. It's because of them and their situation and what's going on in their life. All right. Secondly, the second one is, what others say and do is a projection. Again, it kind of relates to this. It's a projection of their own reality and their own ideas. Okay? This says their own dream, but that's what the author was talking about, the ideas, the concepts that live in the mind and soul of people as they go about life. It's a reflection of their own reality. It's a reflection of, let me put it in psychology terms, it's a reflection of where they're at, not where you're at. And if they're at a different place and they're not able to see or understand or discern where you're at, it's not going to match up and it's not going to matter. So don't take it personal. It's not about you. And sometimes your direct circumstances are not about you. So don't take it personal. All right. Here we go, and we're going to move on to number 3. This is kind of a short subject, but tomorrow's subject is going to be longer. I can see already it's got more intricate details to it. This is number 3 of part 2 here. Don't take anything personally. The third thing about that is when you're immune to the options and actions and reality of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. Okay? When you've learned to not take it personally, that gives you an immunity to the actions and opinions and reality of other people, and you live in your space. You live where you're at, and you live where your experience level is. I was talking with a friend recently about some, and Terry, you've lived through this too. I was talking with a friend of mine recently about some beliefs having to do with things that are in Scripture or things that aren't in Scripture, and it was totally that my friend was coming from a different place than I was, and I was coming from a different place than my friend was, and we didn't worry about that. We didn't become offended that I'm in a different place or that my friend is in a different place. We didn't become offended. We didn't take it personally that we were brought through and brought up through different ideas, through different realities, through different ways of living and understanding things. Everybody's brought up by a different set of parents. Why do you think we're all so different? Why do you think we're all so different? Your mom and dad were not the same mom and dad I had. Maybe your dad was missing, maybe your mom was missing, maybe they were both missing and you were somewhere else, but we did not get brought up by the same people. You can tell that I wasn't brought up by people that like, I don't know, sushi and tattoos. I don't like sushi, just so you know. Sushi and tattoos. And it doesn't mean that somebody else that was brought up that likes sushi and tattoos, that I have a personal problem with them. I don't take it personally if you like sushi. I don't take it personally if you got some tattoos or decoration or a nose ring or I have an earring. That's no big deal. Almost didn't know which side it was on because the camera switched backwards. But I have an earring. That's no big deal. Nobody becomes really offended. I had a couple people ask me about it. It was actually a bet on a football game, but I don't know if I even told anybody that. It was a bet on a football game I lost, and it was. I forget what the teams were. One of them was the Rams. Anyway, I'm not a big Rams fan. So, yeah, sushi for dinner. I'm not going to take that personally. Really, I'm not. I'm not offended, Terry, that you're having sushi for dinner. In fact, I'd be willing to try it sometime. Just to try it, who knows. So, yeah. See, and you didn't know about the football thing. Yeah. So there are these little things that just, they can go on forever. And if you had something happen in your childhood with a brother or a sister, and then somebody comes along and they say something and they totally don't mean anything having to do with that, again, that second one, it's a projection of their own reality. They don't know what your reality was and what you suffered through as a child. I know there are a couple people I know that have suffered through some very traumatic things. One friend of mine has suffered through some very seriously horrifying things that her ex-husband did while they were married, and now she has PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. That's what they get on the battlefield, folks. That's what they get on the battlefield. PTSD is a common condition that soldiers have from the horror of the battlefield and the horror of battles and being in them. And look at that, 2,500 hearts already. Thank you. I really appreciate the hearts. That's awesome. So don't be offended by what other people say. They are coming from a different thing, and when you're able to know, when you get through that second step of knowing that other people have a projection of reality that they see on their inner TV screen, as it were, their projection of reality, they see a different thing happening than you do. They see a different thing happening than everybody else who knows that you had a certain thing go on in your life, and that you can't be around people that do that. Some people that are around people who smoke cigarettes are not able to handle it, just because they went through something that makes them either physically ill, or they just can't handle the fact that somebody's smoking, or somebody is doing something else, doing some drugs, or who knows what. But so their reality is different. But when you finally put that piece together, that someone comes up to you and says something mean, or says something rude, or says something that you just think is aimed right at you, you know, just going for the jugular, you know, that when you finally get that it's about their reality and it's not about yours, then you get that third piece there, when you are immune to the options, the attitudes, the actions of others, and you won't be the victim of needless suffering. It's not that you don't care, it's just that it's not in your space. It's not in that place that you are. So don't be offended. You won't be offended by it, and you won't be plowed under, so to speak, by all of those things that you think are just really hurtful. You think somebody's just trying to get at you, and they're not. They're not. And it's not about you. Sometimes it's about what you're doing that someone may not like, but still that's about them and not about you. I know preachers who get trolls that come in their broadcasts all the time, and they say, oh, it's because I'm preaching the gospel. It's kind of because you're preaching the gospel, but it's also, the major portion of it is because that person has something going on in them, and you preaching the gospel triggers that for them, and they see that as some aspect of their reality. They need to come at you and see if they can confuse you or make you look like a fool or whatever it is, to come in and cause trouble. So that is the origin, according to Coach Dave, that is the origin of trolls. You heard it here first. You heard it from Coach Dave. Coach Dave Live, 6 at 6. That's right, right. Okay, so you heard it live here first from Coach Dave. And so let me just go over these really quick. I'm going to talk a little bit about tomorrow's broadcast and then the broadcast following that on Labor Day. My Labor Day broadcast will be the number 4 of this series. So number 1, we started with, on yesterday's broadcast, be impeccable with your word. That included speak with integrity, say only what you mean, avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about other people. That's kind of a hard one. It's a fine line at times to really know whether you're gossiping or whether you're really saying something that's just true and out there. And the 4th one from yesterday, use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love to build up and encourage, not to tear down. Okay, tonight's was number 2 in the series. Nothing others do is because of you. What others do is a projection of their own reality and the place where they're at. And number 3, when you're immune to that, their actions and attitudes and the things that they do won't make you a victim of any kind of suffering, because you're immune to all those things. All right, tomorrow night we're going to talk about part 3. Part 3 is this. I've got it right here in my notes. It's the green one, but you can't see it because green disappears. Actually, you can see some of the words. Some of the words there. You can see don't make assumptions. You see the way that disappears? That's the same color as my screen back here that disappeared. Okay. Part 3 is don't make assumptions. That's tomorrow night. And tomorrow night we're going to find out what making assumptions will do. We're going to find out about some communication issues with that, and we're going to talk about how step number 3, part number 3, is going to be very instrumental in turning your life around, okay, and helping you agree with success. Now let me just do what they call a reset here. My name's Coach Dave, and I help people find their why, because that's the most important thing. There's no what without a why. I help people find their why, and then I coach them through a specific, very specific process of realizing their goals and their dreams with their why and attaining the things that they want in their life. And as such, I used to call myself a life planning coach. Now I call myself a life fulfillment coach, because what's more fulfilling than living your dreams and your goals? So I help you find your why, and then I coach you through a process to achieve it. All right. I am going to just say one more thing about this. The 4 agreements are things that will bring you success in your life. And these 4 agreements are part of a book by that title, The 4 Agreements. But I call them Agreeing with Success because of what I gleaned from the book. These are success principles, and I saw them and I went, wow, I got to do a 4-part series on that. After this is going to be a 10-part series on things to learn in your life that will last forever. I'm going to do a 10-part series on that after Labor Day. So be keyed up for that, because that is going to be awesome. There are some really awesome things that I think if you put them to action in your life, you can keep them forever and move on with them. But these are agreements for success in your life, and if you put these 4 things together and understand them as a package, I believe success is not an elusive thing for you to have. I believe success is something you can define and go after and achieve. And that's a hard thing. So that's not an easy thing to do. So I'm going to leave it there, and thank you for coming in tonight. I really appreciate everybody here. I appreciate all the hearts and all the viewers. I appreciate everybody sharing this out. Go to YouTube. If you have a YouTube account, please log in there, and my YouTube link is above me. If you didn't see it and you're watching on the replay, just kind of back up a little bit. But there it is. There's my YouTube link right there. So go to YouTube for me and subscribe, because we're going to do another project called Coach Dave Unplugged. Until then, until tomorrow night, 6 at 6 live will be with Coach Dave. We're going to have it at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And you all have a great night, and God bless. Have a good evening.